SKC Trib here, coming at you with my debut OP2 Zoro deck list. And, super excited to talk to you today about this deck list. I love Zoro, love the character, love his ability. Can't say too many bad things about him. Um, so far with playtesting, I've been having a lot of success and some great results with this list. And, without further introduction, let's get to it. Pretty staple card in most red decks is Otama, and Otama is one of my favorite cards, not only because of the art, but it's just super strong. Comboing her with so many different things in this deck: Nico Robin, Jet Pistols, Vistas. You know, just negging two from any character for one, and then on top of that she's being a 2K counter. Super strong card. And, as we keep talking about the deck lists, I'll bring up Otama again with a few cards that you could combo with her. Um, Again, super strong card and pretty much a staple in most red decks. Next up, we have Nami, right? Nami has been, crucial for OP1 in, again, majority of red decks. Law, Luffy, any red and green, anytime that you could play her, you're going to play her. She could search any Straw Hat crew other than herself and place to your hand while you place the rest of the cards at the bottom of your deck. She's a 1K counter, but when you play her with Zoro, her being a 2K attack and you putting a Don in your leader makes her a 3K. Adding a couple more Don on her, now you have a 5 or 6K beat stick that, most people look past because they don't realize, 2K could turn into 5, 6K pretty quickly with this deck. So, especially with some of the other cards that you're going to see on here in new OP2, you could really buff Nami. So not only is she going to search for what you need, your Jet Pistols, your Zoros, your Nico Robins, etc., etc., you could really buff her to be massive. Then we'll have Nico Robin. She is a great card. I know most people run her at 4. I've took her down to 3 only because with OP2 I feel like there's a couple other cards that just give you more utility and are just going to be stronger um, overall. Not to say that Nico Robin isn't a really great card, because she is, especially in mirror matches. Mirror matches, I've learned, and this is just a little secret that I've learned, if you go first against a mirror match and you're able to drop Nico Robin, you're going to be one step ahead because you're going to be dropping a lot of your opponent's cards faster, right? Because they're going to have to deal with Nico Robin. I've been in a lot of matches where, if I get the Nico Robin off first, they're going to jet pistol right away if they have it, or they're going to try to kill it as soon as possible. Especially with OP2 Zoro, you play a lot of cards with with characters less than 3,000 power, unless you buff it. So getting Nico Robin out first in a mirror match is crucial. Again, she's a 1K counter, so very good card here. Next, we're going to go to my favorite card for the art style, for just how crazy this card is, right? So for 3 Don, you're getting a Rush 5K. With your leader ability, he's going to be a Rush 6K, basically for 4 Don. You add a few more Don on him, he's a massive hitter. Only downfall is he's a 3-drop, and a lot of cards in OP2 and even a lot of cards in OP1 really just pop him right away. But going in and when you play him that you're using him for a reason. You're using him to kill another character on your opponent's field, or you're using him just to get into attack the leader and take life. Super strong card. Pretty obvious what you should do with him. Next up, Edward Newgate, one of the new cards, OP2. Again, this is a card that I see a lot of people running at 4. However, I brought it down to 3 just because, with playtesting in a lot of different matches, I've seen this card in my hand too much early on, and having him in your hand early on is not good. He's a fantastic card, don't get me wrong. It's just, you see him, if you see 3 or 4 early on, you're kind of bricked, especially for this type of deck and what you want to accomplish. However, if you get to mid to late game, this card's insane, right? So on play, up to one of your leaders gains 2,000 until the start of your next turn. Then you cannot add cards from your life area to your hand by effects during this turn, right? So for 2 Dawn, and when he's attacking, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 3,000 or less power. So you know that you can't attack first turn, so you're going to drop him. You're going to drop him. Your leader's going to gain 2k. Then you could put an extra Dawn on your leader if you want. Make your leader 8k, swing at anything, right? Next turn, um, if you're keeping the Otamos in your hand, or if you're keeping the Gordons in your hand, you know, you could just KO up to something massive and attack another card. So this card is super strong late game. I brought it down to 3 again for that reason. You don't want to see him too much early. If you do, it's going to be a long game for you. Next up, Curly the Dan, another new card, OP02. Um, Her effect is on play. Look at 5 cards from the top of your deck. Reveal up to 1 red character card with a cost of 1 or less and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck. What makes her so strong is that this OP2 Zoro deck, you're really benefiting from 1-drops. You're playing a lot of 1-drops, you're buffing the hell out of a lot of 1-drops, and you're making them massive. And this card being able to search your 1-drops is awesome. You know, being a 2-drop, 3k attack, again with your leader, for just a couple extra Dawn, you're making her a beat stick as well. With the 1k combo, you run her at 4, no questions asked. Next up we have Vista. And, you know, going back to Otama, another super strong card, right? This is a 3-drop, 3k attack, on play, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 3k power or less. You know, you combo things with like Otama. You know, you're popping 5Ks pretty easily. With Gordon's, right? Gordon negs 3,000 power from a character, so you could pop, you know, 6Ks for 3. Just so much to do. Also, again, you know, just to have that on board with your leader, you can make him pretty big. Another card with counter, 1k counter. This deck plays a lot of counter, because you're going to need it. Next up, and probably my second favorite card so far, is Whitey Bay. Whitey Bay for 1-drop, 2k, 1k counter. With 1 Dawn, this character can also attack your opponent's active characters. She doesn't look like much from now, but this card is crucial to this deck. A lot of people were running her at either 0 or 2. I ran her at 3 because of some of the combos I'm going to talk to you about with these next cards. Whitey Bay on the up and up. Makino. Makino, again, 1-drop, 2k counter. Ability, activate main. You may rest this character. Up to one of your red characters with a cost of 1 gains 3,000 power during this turn. Right, and we were just talking about Whitey Bay. Right, we go back to Whitey Bay. You're making Whitey Bay now 5k. With your leader, you're making her 6k, and she can attack active characters, which is massive, right? You're not really losing too much because she's a 1k, but you can make her 6k for 2 Dawn. Insane. So, great card. Of course, the 2k combo just makes her that much better. Next up, we have Magra. And Magra, almost like, you know, Makino, is just an on play instead of an activate, right? So on play, up to one of your red characters with a cost of 1 gains 3,000 power during this turn. You know, again, he's also a 1k counter. You know, you're just making your 1-drop so big, right, for almost nothing. Adding a Dawn to your leader and then activating Makino or Magra, and, you know, using Whitey Bay, or you could even use it on Nami. You can use it on your Sunny Coons, which we'll get to. Just another really, really strong card. I saw a lot of people play this at 2. You could arguably play it at 3 or 4, just because how strong he is, and also the 1k combo. Really good card. Next up, we have Gordon, and you heard me mention Gordon a few times throughout this video, and that's because if you read Activate Main, you may return this card to the bottom of your deck, give up to one of your opponent's characters negative 3k power during this turn. Right, so when we're talking about, you know, jet pistols and vistas to kill things under 3k power and Nico Robin to kill things under 3k power, you know, there's so much potential here. You have your Rush Zoro if you want to, neg 3k power on some one of the characters, play your Zoro, get in there, if you want to neg an active character for 3k and then play Whitey Bay and buff Whitey Bay and kill an active character. There's so many things that you could do with this card. Same thing with Otama. This one's obviously just a little bit stronger in negative power. His only downfall is that he's no combo. As you gain the negative 1,000 power. Otama has a 2k combo. Other than that, you're going to play this at 3, maybe 2, but super strong for what you're trying to do in this deck. And then you have Sunny Coons. Sunny Coon is, really good, especially him being a 1-drop 3k. If we're talking about Makino and we're talking about Magra and we're talking about, giving these characters plus 3,000, right? So you give him plus 3,000 and then you put 1 Dawn on your leader. And let's say that you want to combo this, you want to combo Magra, you want to combo Sunny Coon, and you want to put 1 Dawn on your leader. For 3 Dawn, you're making this 7k. Obviously, you're not going to do that in one turn because you can't attack, but think about it like that, right? For very little Dawn in these decks, you're making heavy hitters. 7Ks easily, right? Obviously, you can make them a lot higher, but it's a very, very hard deck to beat early on. Super fast deck as well, especially if you're drawing good. That's why the Edward Newgate, if you see too many of them early and you don't see a lot of these 1-drop combos, it's hard to pick up speed. But Sunny Coon, again, 1-drop 3k with 1k combo. I play him at 3. I really wanted to bump him to 4. I bumped him to 3 to put another Whitey Bay in, and it's been working really well. So 3 or 4, 100% with this character here. Next up, Brooke. Brooke, if, again, big staple, majority of red decks, red and green. Just for the mere fact it's 2k combo, on play, give up to 2 Rested Dawn cards to your leader or one of your characters. Was really strong in OP1, especially comboing with, Sanjis and things like that. However, in this, it's not as strong. He's still very strong because, you're putting a 3k on board. If you do play him, I usually keep him in hand for 2k combos. Once you're playing, you'll get a feel of when you should drop him. If you have board control, if you just need more characters on board, you could drop him. But him giving somebody 2 Rested Dawn, you're basically playing him for free almost. And then obviously a 2k counter. In this deck, I play him at 2. Some people have been playing him at 4. Again, I think you playing him at 4 with all the combos that you need for your 1-drops, you almost kind of break in a way. So playing him at 2 has been working really well for me, and I'd like to hear comments on what you think about this character here and how much you think that you should play him, because he's one of the ones that's iffy. Do we bump him to 3? Do we try him at 4 again just because of the 2k counter? A lot of things at play here, but I play him at 2. He does offer a lot of different things, but I think for what we're trying to do in this deck, 2 is pretty good. Next up is Radical Beam. Radical Beam's been in, since OP1, so obviously it's a counter. Your leader or up to one of your characters gains 2,000 power during this battle. Then you have 2 or less life cards. That card gains additional 2,000 power during this battle. With a trigger effect, if you get it off life, your leader or up to one of your characters gains 1,000 power during this turn. So, obviously, usually keeping it in hand. If you have 2 or less less life cards, getting that 4K extra power for one is really good. I'm playing it at 2 because you are playing a lot of counter here, and you're really just you're just you're just beating the opponent up, right? You're dropping so many low cost Don cards, and you're just buffing them, and you're just beating the opponent up. So having this at 2, I believe, is 2 or 3 you could probably get away with, but 2 has been working really well for me. And then probably for the best, one of the best cards in the game, Gum Gum Jet Pistol. You know, most of you that are going to be watching this has been on the opposite receiving end of Jet Pistol. It's not fun, especially if you get it off life. Main effect, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 6k power or less. We talk about Gordons, right? We talk about Gordons that can minus 3k. Then we talk about Otamas that can minus 2k. And, there's so much power behind this. If there's something big on board and you have the 5 Dawn to get rid of it with Otama and Gordon plus this combo, it's it's just an amazing combo. It's awesome. It feels great when you do it to somebody. It feels terrible when it happens to you, but that's the nature of the beast. The trigger effect is even more brutal because if you get this off life, you just activate the card's main effect for free. So you're just KOing something with 6k power or less for free. And that also is super, super, super fun when you do it. Super, super unfortunate when it happens to you. So that concludes this deck list. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys try it. I love to hear feedback. Everybody here at Soul King Crew loves feedback. We love getting better. We love hearing new ideas and trying new ideas. So if you liked the video, please like, subscribe, comment. It would mean the world to us. And we will catch you next video. Thank you.